jewelry brand is changing the game with sustainable lab-grown jewelry, and we'll find out more about it.
It has stayed true to its core, sustainably growing gemstones and clasping it with luxury.
And in the thick of planning pop-ups around the country, founder Katriana Batu joins us here in the studio. Hi, Yana.
Hi, Yana.
Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful to be here.
So great to have you here. First of all, I'd like to know, is it game over for mined diamonds, since we're seeing the rise now of lab-grown diamonds?
Well, I wouldn't say game over actually. Of course, there are still some people who would opt for, the rarity of natural diamonds, but it's really obvious right now that the lab-grown industry has been rising and rising. And the reason for that is because, well, it's sustainable and at the same time, it's also economical and practical.
Okay, and when you mention sustainable, economical, and practical, in what sense? Because most of our viewers, they typically tend to go for the natural diamonds because they quote say that it holds more value, which is true. So for you talking to our viewers to change their mind on switching the lab growns, how would you change their mind about that?
Well, I would give it an example. Like the most popular gemstone is the diamond, right? So let's say a natural diamond, it's made out of pure carbon chemically, and the way it grows underneath the earth through carbon and pressure, that exact environment you can already make in a lab through carbon and pressure as well, like replicating the exact environment. So you can already grow a diamond, and it's still made of pure carbon. So it's chemically the same, physically and optically the same. To the naked eye, when you look at a lab diamond and a natural diamond, they really are exactly the same thing. You cannot tell the difference.
So it's really identical.
Yeah, they're exactly the same thing. The only difference would, of course, be the value and where and how it's made.
Price-wise, how much is the difference if you go for example, a 1 carat lab-grown compared to a natural 1 carat diamond?
Okay, so let's say a 1 carat natural diamond set in like an 18K solitaire simple ring setting, it can go up to 500,000. That's the whitest diamond you can get, the clearest, with certification. So that's up to 500,000 actually on other brands. But if it's a lab-grown diamond set with the same ring setting, nasa mga 60,000 per carat.
Wow, it's a huge difference.
Yeah, that's a huge jump.
difference.
And this is also what they say is the whitest color already.
Yeah, that's why the whitest diamonds, the clearest diamonds in its natural mined form are so expensive, because they're very rare. But if it's in lab-grown form, they're made in a more controlled environment, right? So it's easier to produce better quality diamonds.
And you mentioned off-air earlier, we were chatting, that it's actually dangerous as well for mining natural diamonds.
Yeah, because there are so many things going on just for you to mine a diamond. You have the environmental degradation, habitat destruction, the ethical implications, poor working environment.
Remember the blood diamond?
Yeah,
the blood diamonds
Yeah,
too.
they're often
Child soldiers. It's still there, right?
Exactly. So at least with a lab diamond, you're sure that it's not a blood diamond. And at the same time, it's a very economical and practical choice. Because, if you were to propose to someone and you didn't have the option of a lab diamond, you'd really have to go for a natural diamond, which could cost hundreds of thousands of pesos, even millions, depending on the design and how big the stone is. So I would always tell our customers, instead of purchasing a natural diamond, why don't you just go for a lab diamond and maybe use the money for your honeymoon or down payment on a house or
very
your car.
practical.
Yeah, because actually a lot of people think that natural diamonds have value, but they actually don't. If you go to a pawn shop, the people in the pawn shop would really not look at the natural diamond stone. They will just weigh your ring. So what holds value is really the gold.
It's the gold.
Yeah, it's really the gold.
But the stone itself.
The stone itself has no value. So that's why a lot of people opt for lab diamonds. And if they want value, you just have to make sure that it's set in real gold, either 14 karat, 18 karat, or even 24 karat actually.
Speaking of misconceptions, I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions out there about natural and lab-grown diamonds. But what are other misconceptions with not just lab-grown diamonds, but with gemstones as well that people have that let's debunk right now?
Yeah, well, so because it's lab-grown, a lot of people think that it's not a real diamond. or a real sapphire or a real emerald, because there are also a lot of gemstones already that can be made in a lab. But actually, scientifically, if we talk about science, they are still real diamonds because they're both made of pure carbon. So they're chemically the same thing. It's just really, as mentioned, the only difference is how they're made.
It's a process.
But Diana, I'm concerned, well, aren't you concerned about why the prices for lab-grown diamonds, it's really not appreciating, and also there are so many lab-grown diamonds or suppliers flooding the market. So paano mag-appreciate yung price?
Well, the thing is, it does not appreciate actually, because lab diamonds have like the process in making a lab diamond is really easier, and there's so much more going on in terms of mining a diamond as compared to lab-grown diamonds. So what appreciates actually is the gold. So the gold.
So basically, the price will stay the same for lab-grown pieces.
Yeah, we don't see actually a difference when it comes to the trend of the diamonds or the gemstones itself. What changes in terms of pricing is if there's an increase in the price of gold, which we have been seeing for like so long already. Like the price of gold goes up every year. It's a really good investment.
How do you know now that if you're going for lab-grown, who do you trust? Where do you go to make sure that what you get is of quality?
Yeah,
it's
like,
in the best quality. And you said India is now the biggest supplier for lab-grown diamonds.
I think we talked about it off air too, because we were saying you're like one of the only brands here in the Philippines that probably does lab-grown. So do you guys have like a certificate? Like how do you ensure the quality and everything?
All stones actually have certification. So one of the reasons also why I would say that a lab-grown diamond, for example, is still a real diamond, because they are certified by the GIA, Gemological Institute of America, or the IGI, International Gemological Institute. They both certified lab diamonds and natural diamonds. They just put lab-grown or natural in the certificate. So that really just means that they are still real diamonds.
So both hold value, IGI or GIA?
Yes. Those are like the most credible certifying body for gemstones.
So let's talk about the other gemstones.
Yeah, because I'm getting distracted. Like, there's a bunch of shining, shimmering, splendid things in front of me. Can we zoom in? Because I didn't realize like all these other gemstones can be made lab-grown. So let's talk about all the gemstones that
Look at the beautiful pieces.
They're so pretty.
Yeah, so the most common, of course, is really the diamond and the moissanite. They're the white stones. Those are the most timeless and classic pieces of jewelry that you will see. But we've actually been advocating more colored gemstones that are equally as beautiful. I gave you a lab-grown emerald piece, right?
It's my favorite piece.
You should have brought it today. I want to see.
Yeah. So we have lab-grown emerald, sapphire, rubies, and recently we just launched 3 new lab-grown gemstones. We have Paraiba, aquamarine, and alexandrite. So those gemstones can also be made in a lab, and as mentioned earlier, they are still exactly the same thing. They have the same chemical composition as the sapphires, emeralds, rubies that are grown underneath the earth.
Why pick these 3 stones? Well, I'm not familiar with Paraiba. Describe to us.
Paraiba is my new favorite.
What is Paraiba? And also why pick aquamarine and all these alexandrite?
Yeah. So actually, not all gemstones can be made in a lab. Konti pa lang talaga.
Not all.
Yeah, konti pa lang talaga yung nagagawa in a lab. So for now, the most recent ones that we were able to acquire is the Paraiba. Our Paraiba is actually a garnet, but the term Paraiba comes from its color. It's like
this one, no?
Did you bring it here?
Green turquoise color. So that's what makes the Paraiba stone popular.
It's a bright. It's a
beautiful.
bright.
Yeah, it's like electric
blue-green.
Can we zoom in on this? Because I want you all to see like how beautiful this like eclectic blue.
Yeah,
it's gorgeous.
It's super beautiful. It's like a turquoise blue.
Yeah,
green.
it's the color of the ocean.
And it's from Brazil. I actually thought when I first heard of Paraiba, I thought it was from the Philippines because it looks like the waters of like Palawan or somewhere like some of our waters. Because ang ganda, but it's actually from Brazil, right?
Yeah, the natural ones, yeah. But this one is lab grown.
Saka na to. Just kidding.
So you also do custom-made jewelry.
Yeah, we do custom
and
made
depends
as
on
well.
what stone we want and also the setting.
Yeah,
the client can always just go to you.
Yeah. And also, we're more high-tech now, so we do an AutoCAD design, if you guys are familiar with what AutoCAD
No, what is that?
So parang we use a software to design the exact ring that you want, and then we
I've seen
3D
that.
print the mold of that.
Yeah.
So very intricate designs we can now make. So like if you want, flower or petal prom
Or the
designs.
vintage-inspired ones.
Yeah,
it's
like
really
Taylor
coming
Swift.
back.
Or vintage, yeah.
Because that's like the new thing, right? It's
Yeah,
viral
yeah.
now. So I'm sure you have a lot of clients asking about
Yeah, I
that.
actually recently made a video explaining what Taylor Swift's ring is, and it's an elongated cushion. So the cut is like, it's a rectangle but with rounded corners. So that's what the stone cut of Taylor Swift's is.
And you know what I love about Yana's brand as well? Because having lab-grown jewelry, it's not just, she's saying it's more ethical, more sustainable.
Yeah.
She's really true to her word because she really does advocate for it.
Yeah.
I always tell her, Yana, I don't know how you have time for life. Because she's a farm girl. She does an advocacy with basically no waste, right? Like you use all compostable materials, no plastic. She also recently partnered up with the Philippine Eagle Foundation. I don't know why I'm talking about your advocacy.
Tell us about that. Your partnership with the Philippine Eagle Foundation.
So I've already very been into sustainability ever since Pristine Paradigm started. So I manage our family farm in Davao Oriental. So we're shifting to sustainable farming there. So when I started Pristine, I really wanted our products or our brand to go beyond sustainability, not just for our products. So with our packaging, we don't use any plastic. We use honeycomb wrapper as bubble wrap. Our hard box has no logo in it, only the ribbon has logo, so that the hard box can be used for like gifts or to place your essentials or your skincare or for a
very
storage.
admirable. Everything can be reusable.
Yeah, and even our mailers. So if you guys notice, if you order on Shopee or on JNT, you see the plastic mailers, right? Yung pinakalabas
So sayang the plastic.
Yeah, so even that, we use plant-based mailers. Right? And I had to convince JNT for a year to let me use these plant-based made of corn mailers.
Wow.
And pumayag naman sila because it's really good quality. It's a bit more expensive, but what's the price you have to pay, right? For
Very good. Yeah, I applaud you for that because finally, nasasayangan ako when I see so much plastic being used in all our packaging, diba? And it just goes to our landfill, our oceans.
And not only that, we, of course, inevitably as a business, we still have a lot of waste. Some plastic or bubble wrap from our suppliers, from our packaging, right? Some carton waste, and all of those we don't throw away. We gather all of them, and every month we donate them to recycling initiatives. So that's also one of the things that we do as part of our CSR. And so speaking of CSR, we're so really big on CSR, and as you guys mentioned about the Philippine Eagle Foundation, so I recently partnered with them. Monique was there in our second anniversary
because I'm
event.
such a fan.
Yeah, that's where we launched and announced our partnership. So for every engagement ring sold, we plant one tree that will be named after our customer and will be tracked.
How
so the customer
sweet.
can track real time what happened to their tree.
Yeah.
I will buy na from you.
Yeah.
Yes, because it actually goes to a very noble cause.
Yeah.
But there's a balance also, diba? How do you strike that balance that, your initiatives, impact-driven initiatives will also mean commercial growth for you?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we're still a business after all. No, we still need to sustain the business, but at the same time, we also always make sure that we try to give back to the community and offset whatever energy or whatever processes that we incur inevitably in our operations.
Yeah, no, I love it. But Yana, before we let you go, I want to know how to maintain lab-grown jewelry. Is it the same as maintaining the natural grown?
Yeah, it's the same thing because they are exactly the same thing. So the way you take care of a natural diamond, a natural sapphire, is the same thing. So let's say, like I mentioned, they are the same thing.
Right.
So the hardness of the durability of a lab-grown gemstone as compared to a natural gemstone is exactly the same. So they're really the same thing.
Right.
But I find, Yana, sorry Mo, I find that the older generation, like my in-laws for example, they're still into natural diamonds. And when I mentioned, like possibly thinking about lab-grown or buying lab-grown diamonds, they're saying, walang value yan.
Well, I don't really blame them because a lot of people still don't know what lab-grown gemstones are. I mean, I would still have to explain that they're exactly the same thing, right? And well, maybe some people would still think of like, the story behind a natural gemstone. It's formed millions of years underneath the earth. I mean, we're not judging if that's what they want, but if in terms of value, like as mentioned, the one thing that really has value is the gold. So
But
it's
there
really the same
are
thing.
instruments now that can detect lab-grown as well?
Yeah, but really high-tech ones. You can check if it's a lab-grown or a natural diamond. But to the naked eye, you really can't see the difference.
Right.
So what's nice also with lab-grown gemstones is, since it's more economical, the price point is significantly lower. If you just want to add to your collection, it's not going to be so expensive na. If you want to use it for travel, and in case mawala siya, hindi siya
It won't
super
hurt us
masakit.
much.
Yeah.
But for our viewers who have questions about lab grown, because we have a lot of questions, but unfortunately we ran out of time. But where can they contact you if they want to check them out?
Yeah, so our page is website actually is at pristineparadigm.com. You can also find us at Pristine Paradigm on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. I do personally a lot of videos there.
Very
just like
educational
this. Yeah, very
ones.
educational. I'm really in front of the camera talking about our products, talking about how sustainable it is, and guiding all our customers in choosing the right piece for them.
And we learned a lot from you
I
as
know we
well.
learned so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Ladies
so
and gents,
much.
that was our beautiful Katriana Batu, founder of Pristine Paradigm.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
We loved having you. Maya's a fan now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much.